Legislators in the state of Washington are putting together legislation that will create one of the most aggressive and progressive family leave plans in the country. Democrats in the state are working on legislation that would provide up to 6 months of paid family leave for things like having a new child in the family, caring for a sick family member, dealing with a death in the family. And that also this legislation would include an additional 12 weeks to overcome a serious illness on behalf of the employee. The benefits for this pay, based on calculations of the state wages and so on, would be capped at $1,000 per week. So 6 months on that, obviously you're looking at about $26,000, which is, again, the most progressive, the most generous paid family leave plan in this country should it pass. Currently, only 2 states allow as much as 12 weeks of paid family leave. Additional 2 states only allow up to, I believe, about 6 weeks. So again, we're talking about the state of Washington trying to roll out one of the most progressive and family-friendly paid leave time laws in this country. And here's why this is such a great thing. The Democrats in Washington who have put forward this legislation or are currently drafting this legislation are taking a page out of the GOP playbook. Think about this. When Republicans wanted to kill unions across the United States, public sector unions, they started in Wisconsin with Scott Walker going after the teachers' unions. When they saw that they could be successful there, they began spreading that to other states, Ohio, North Carolina, and so on. That's how they do it. When they wanted to start with voter disenfranchisement, not voter ID laws, voter disenfranchisement, they started in the state of Florida. They saw that it worked, that they got away with it. So again, they go to other states, again, specifically North Carolina and Ohio and Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. That's been the Republican playbook for a decade now. When you want to do something on a national scale, you got to start small to see if you can get away with it, to see the public response. And yeah, the public response to things like killing public sector unions and voter disenfranchisement was horrible, but it was successful. And that's what we've also seen Democrats do with minimum wage laws. They start in one city. It works. They get good economic statistics. They can show people that it created huge economic growth. So it moves to the next city and the next and the next. But do you see the difference here? Republicans are using the states as laboratories to see how much of our rights they can strip from us. They want to strip away our right to join a union. They want to strip away our right to vote. Versus Democrats at the state level, because God knows the ones in Washington, D.C. have lost touch with this. At the state level, we're increasing minimum wage. We're trying to give people more paid family leave so they can take care of their family and themselves. There is such a huge difference right now, not only in the 2 parties, but in the individual parties in the states versus what's happening in Washington, D.C. Do you think there is a single lawmaker in Washington, D.C., with the exception of Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth Warren, who would ever put forth a family leave bill that would provide 6 months of paid family leave? If you can think of one, please, for the love of God, shout the name out, because I can't. I've been following these people for more than a decade. And it's the states right now, especially since we do not have the U.S. House, we don't have the Senate, and we don't have the White House. It's the states that have to pick up the progressivism that most Americans agree with, Republican or Democrat. Republicans do like these ideas when they see them in action and see that they work. So that's why what's happening in Washington state right now with this paid family leave bill is so important. Because if we can show that it works in Washington, it is going to spread around this country like a wildfire.